Did I do an intro? I don't think I did an intro. I'll do an intro now and I'll cut it into the start of the video. And if you pay attention, you'll notice a continuity error. I'll give you a hint. It's the sleeves. Hi. Checking in. Mental health check, I guess. And am I still alive check. And how do I feel about still being alive? Third week in a row, I've done this, I guess. Instead of, anything else I would usually do on this channel. Because, well, if you've seen the two previous videos, you know why. If you haven't seen the two previous videos, then I don't know what brought you to this one first. If you need the context, go back, because I can't. I can't sit here and re-explain all that. I just can't. So, I don't feel quite as crushed, physically, emotionally, as I was. Mostly because I've burnt out. I've got nothing left with which to feel that. Everything's just gone TV static up here. Still really not doing well. This is outside of about 20 years ago. Well, coming up on 21, I guess, come October. When I was first actually diagnosed with, at first depression and then later bipolar type 2. This is the longest depressive episode I've ever been in. And I got so little juice left. Trying very, very hard to push forward, make plans. Just to, have something to reach towards and look forward to. But it's not what you would call easy or simple. There's a thing in psychology, symptom, I guess, of major depressive disorder and a lot of related mental health issues called, what was my thing? I wrote it down because I always forget what it's called. Anhedonia. And it's something that I frequently struggle with. At the basic level, what it means is you kind of lose the ability to engage with things you used to be able to enjoy. And you lose the ability to find joy, relief, distraction even in them. So for me, those things are mostly media related. So video games, TV, movies, music, although less with the music, I think. Really only listen to music when I'm out and about the world sometimes, just so I have something, some sensory thing pouring in through my headphones. My noise cancelling headphones, so I don't have to deal with the din of the outside world, because something else that's been getting worse recently is my ability to process auditory input. That's part of the autism thing. But when your brain is doing the kinds of things my brain is doing right now, it tends to exacerbate a lot of that, because autism, the sensory processing side of the autism stuff requires a certain amount of active focus and energy to do it. And when a depressive disorder destroys all of that, it's hard to filter. I should have put a hoodie on. One of the reasons I had hoodies on in the last 2 videos, where I don't usually, well, sometimes wear a hoodie in videos, but I don't always have the hoodie up unless I'm outside. But one of the reasons is, one of the things you start not worrying about is personal care when you're in a deep depressive episode. And the hair is something I can't, I think I'm gonna whip it all off, I think. Probably best to do that, because I am about to be homeless, and keeping up with personal hygiene when you're homeless, I think the hair should go. I just buzz it all the way down. Used to wear it like that for a while anyway. So, on that note, nothing's really changed. Going to be homeless very, very soon now. Less than 2 weeks. However, thank you to all of you who've reached out with attempts at emotional support, kind words, and direct, monetary support as well. One person in particular really did go above and beyond in an act of generosity I don't even know how to respond to. But the end of that is, I'm not going to be literally on the streets when I am homeless. I will have a vehicle, small van, not a kitted out camper van or anything like I talked about in that first video, where I was like, the romanticized dream of wandering the country in a little camper van of some kind. But it's a vehicle. It's in decent operating order, and it is kind of a minivan type of thing. Imagine the kind of little van you would see, like a mobile locksmith working out of. It's that sort of size of van. It's not quite the kind of van you see delivering packages, but I can't stand up in the back, but there is enough room in the back to lay down and take a small amount of my stuff with me. So I'll have somewhere to put my clothes, keep my food, and enough stuff to keep existing. Physically, I'm not good. For the past few days, my back has been really bad. And I mean, I literally can't move. Like, raise my arms, anything that your back supports, walking, lifting your arms up, from like shoulders. It's all met with blinding pain. Starting to ease up this morning, so that's good. But I don't know, I slept on my shoulder weird, so that kind of hurts right now as well. That's another filtering thing, because I do live with chronic back pain, and there's always some pain. Sometimes it's worse than others. But when depression has burnt out so much of you, it's tough to filter that anymore. So I'm just feeling it directly instead. Progress of packing up this place and throwing a bunch of shit out and whatnot, not going well. I should have spent most of this week doing that, and I've done almost nothing, because I don't have the energy, and I'm in too much pain, and just getting out of the chair to start doing it, just finding that motivation to begin. No one who hasn't suffered actual medical, clinical depression of some kind really understands how difficult it is just to start anything. So, yeah, every day that goes by that I don't do that just adds to the pile of anxiety. Leaves less time to do that. I have been doing some stuff to prepare, like getting the vehicle included, leaving the house a few times, and during those trips I did a few things. Got myself a nice little sketchbook. It's ridiculous how expensive sketchbooks are. Just little notebooks, like the Moleskines, my favorite kind of little notebook. And anyone who's been some sort of creative that requires you to draw or write or something, you know your Moleskine notebooks. It's been a while since I bought one because I haven't needed any in ages. But they used to be like $12, something like that, which is pretty expensive for a little book of paper, but still, they were nice. They're like $55 for a little that big. It is just ridiculous. I nearly fell down in the store. This I got an office supply store. You see, it's just a little ring-bound thing. I think it's from Derwent. Yeah, Derwent Academy. Again, if you've ever drawn, you've heard that brand before. They used to make the most desirable pencils back in the 90s. Colored box of colored Derwents. That was the chase item for anyone who really enjoyed drawing back in the day. No idea how they stand up today. Not really in that world anymore. But that was like $6, or $7, I think. So in the last video, I talked about little projects I was trying to think of to keep me going, to keep me active, to keep me engaged with the world and myself. So I just completely shut down. And I talked about a little mixed media project of photography and prose and drawing. So that's what I got the little notebook for, so I can just start sketching it again. And one of the first things I did was a little sketch there for Anhedonia, because I want to tie that project in to try and help people understand mental health stuff in a little more direct way than just trying to explain it to them, which is one of the reasons I'm on camera when I really don't want to be. Because anyone familiar with how I usually present on camera can see the change. But even this, just a little sketchbook here, was an exercise in misery and disappointment as well. Not just because the notebooks I would usually buy are so expensive now, but I bought myself off Amazon this little mechanical pencil. And I've talked about mechanical pencils before in other videos. I think one of the videos I did was showing off it was another mental health thing. I think I had a blender render kind of the thing I did when I was teaching myself 3D modeling. Yeah, something like that. I talked about mechanical pencils. And this looks almost identical to my very favorite mechanical pencil I used to use 25 years ago or something, when I was doing a self-published small comic with a mate of mine. It's crap though. It's imitation. It's just, I don't think it's got a brand on it, but it feels cheap and plastically and light and pathetic. It's going to break, but it'll do. I mean, don't know what I expected. I bought the cheapest one that was there. Also got myself a little kneadable eraser, which is one of my favorite eraser thing. Again, something I just used to use back in the day. I love the tactility of this thing. It works really nicely too as a pencil eraser. Any artists out there? Actually, you know what? You're probably all digital these days, aren't you, with your drawing pads? Do artists even know anymore the tactile pleasures of the kneadable erasure? Even that, though. At least this is exactly how I remember it. It smells the same, it feels the same, but I don't know. Another thing I've been doing in preparation for being homeless is filling up some portable hard drives with media. Because just, TV shows and anime and stuff. something to be able to watch while I'm out there, so I don't go insane and filling up my e-reader with books and manga and stuff. Again, same reason. Just I don't do well when I'm not engaging with something. I can't just sit and look out to the horizon like some people can, because I start ruminating and it gets dangerous and bad. So I've always got to keep myself distracted. There's another concept in psychology that people who are like that, who need that constant noise from media, especially if they go, I find it very difficult to go to sleep without some sort of noise on. Apparently that has to do with abandonment issues. So you always got to have that noise, so it makes you feel like there's someone. I haven't really unpacked all that. Don't like to think about it really, because, well, childhood. Not one of my favourite times in life. Jesus Christ, I need a haircut. So that's where we're at. I've got to pack my life down enough to fit into a small van, and within the next 2 weeks I'm out in the world. I was going to say the long term, but it's not really that long term. But the next thing on the horizon is once I'm out there on the road, I am going to try and meander my way down to Melbourne over the next 8 weeks. Because in 8 weeks' time, PAX Australia happens, and that's sort of the once a year thing that I usually enjoy, and hopefully I'll be in the right headspace to be able to enjoy it. But at the very least, I'll be able to see some people I only really ever get to see when I get there. Get to go down to Melbourne for that, either at the event or just my friends who live in Melbourne. So hopefully that'll be good. That's the one thing on my horizon. I'm going, well, that's the target. That's keep functioning, moving towards that. I don't know what happens after that, but hope is hard to hold on to at the moment, and I keep catching myself self-sabotaging as well, which is part of how I got into this homeless problem in the first place, as I talked about in the first video. And the whole self-sabotage thing is not because you want to fail, but it's a fear of hope. You self-sabotage because you fear of getting attached to hope. Because if you've had hope destroyed so many times in your life, if you self-sabotage before you get to the hopeful stage, well, you don't have to face the possibility of having your hope crushed and damned. So I'm a mess. But, still here. Again, thank you to everybody who's been compassionate, and thank you to everyone who's been helping with the money side of things too. I was about to say, I don't feel like I'm worth your support. And it's true, but I'm trying real hard not to get locked into that thinking, because I'll start to spiral again. But I guess on the whole, I'm doing slightly better right now. I'm in tremendous pain. But I've allowed myself to hope for something. So the next 8 weeks are starting to fall into a plan of some kind. We'll see.